Hey, welcome back, everyone. I'm excited to be here. Another episode. We are on the call. I am Cris Rivers.
And I'm Mændy Mac.
Yes, and we are here with the amazing Vickie and Savvie from Revolve, Vermont. Did I say it? I hope I
Yay!
did that wrong.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here to share your story and share a bit about your studio and let us learn a little bit about you individually as pole dancers as well.
Happy to share.
Awesome. So we usually start with how did you start your pole journey? What got you into pole dancing?
Do you want to go first? I don't know.
I love it.
My pole journey started in 2012 when I was in Vermont at an opera, and a little opera company in Vermont, and the opera plot needed a ballet company, but the opera company couldn't afford the ballet company, so they had a professional pole dancer perform where the ballet performed in Puccini's Tosca. And I didn't know this. My husband was in the opera. I'm also an opera singer. And so I'm sitting there watching. I've seen plenty of strippers, but I'd never seen, and I'd seen amazing strippers, but I'd never seen like this kind of like circus pole before. And I remember the minute the opera was over, I was like, well, my husband's going to be 20 minutes anyway. And I'm on my cell phone immediately looking for pole classes. And everything was Montreal or Boston or New York City, which are hours and hours from where we live. So I was like, oh, well. And then in 2016, one of my voice students said, hey, Vickie, did you hear that a pole studio opened in Burlington? And that's where Savvie and I met, like instant, like we were both there at the same time. She's beat me by a week or two.
Yeah, we were both there when the studio started here.
Yeah, and so this is where we overlap, but we both started that pole journey around the same time. You might have started before me on the storyline, but yeah. So I've been dancing since 2016. I consider myself kind of a tricks teacher. I'm very, very into the mindset of pole dancing, like love your body regardless of what it is. Be kind to yourself. I started teaching in 2018 under the old studio that was in Burlington that shut down because of COVID. This is why our studio exists, because we missed having a pole studio. Vermont's not big, so you kind of got to fight for everything. And I've competed twice in Boston and placed both times. And I teach, and it's good. Your turn.
Yay! I have always wanted to be a stripper since I was probably like a tiny child. And so that has always been what I wanted to do. But I have this weird overlap where I don't really like populated areas or cities, but I wanted to do sex work. That doesn't really go very well together. So when I moved to Vermont, I love how rural it is, and how like countryside it is and mountainous and beautiful, but there's not really a high population and there's no strip clubs, really. So we've had a couple here and there, but they always close down. So when I was 18, I got involved in my friend's burlesque troupe. So I started with burlesque because that was the closest I could get to stripping. And then I found out from the burlesque teacher in that same studio in 2016 that the pole studio was opening up. So she was like, oh, this studio is opening up soon. And I was like, I will be there day one. I have always wanted to pole dance. And that's pretty much it. So you have a nice representation of the two of us here, because I am very sultry, slinky, sexy, sensual style. I have trained my tricks. I do not do them. I will roll around on the floor instead.
I love it so much.
Honestly, it's so interesting. One's from the opera house and one's from burlesque, and then you two merged together. That must have been a beautiful immersion.
I think it's great. My favorite thing about Vickie too is because she's an opera singer, when you're pole dancing with her, sometimes if she hits a trick really good, she'll just break out into opera, and it's the best thing ever.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, I once had a student show up recently and I was singing during warm-ups and she goes, "Oh, you're the singing teacher I've heard about."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. Yay.
I
That
can't
is
even
funny.
imagine.
I make similar noises, but I assure you they don't sound as good as you.
Just about to
Let
say,
me
like, I
be the
definitely
judge
make
of that.
noises. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful combination though, singing and pole dancing.
It is. I keep telling her she needs to do a competition piece at some point where she opera sings and poles at the same time.
So PSO won't let you do that.
Okay, well,
Yes, but I could do it at the studio recitals at our showcases.
You should.
Maybe I'll do that sometime. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll just keep saying maybe next year.
Too funny.
Make it a reality.
With
Yes.
time, just like flying by.
I know, yeah.
So earlier you mentioned that originally you started in, I believe, the Burlington pole studio, and due to Corona, it closed down, and that's why you started this. Can you go into a little bit of how Vermont started?
Yeah. So we both studied under Allison Mathis, who was a completely self-taught pole dancer. She had been dancing since she was 4 in ballet and tap and hip hop. Like, she did everything. And then the reason she started the pole studio is she'd moved to Vermont from Florida. She felt very, very alone and she needed an outlet. And but she was also had no friends in the area. So she bought a pole, literally bought a pole, and taught herself how to pole dance in her house. And then said, you know what? I'm gonna start a studio, and just out of nowhere started the first pole studio in Burlington. And so we both did really well with her as the only teacher in the state, until she brought a few of the students on to teach with her. And then COVID hit. Oh my gosh. And then in November of 2020, she contacted us, or one of us, and said, I'm done. I'm never going. I can't, first of all, I can't wait, and I'm done, which was such a bummer because it was the June before that she'd opened her own studio.
we just started in a new studio.
Like,
yeah.
she'd been subletting and sharing her space
And it
for
was beautiful.
years. And then oh my God, what was it? Like 15.5-foot ceilings. Like,
Yeah, very high ceilings, her own space.
it was, yeah, like 7 of us went to PSO that year. It was like this 2019 was like this huge PSO year for the studio. And then, yeah, so in November she said, I'm done. And then in January, Savvie and I and 5 others,
A bunch more people.
I think there was 7 of us on the 7. Yeah, because Jocelyn and Christina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then plus Sin and the 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 of us got us on a Zoom call in January, and we were like, this is unacceptable. There has to be a pole studio in Burlington. There's too much of an amazing community here. And of the 7 of us, 5 of us said yes. And from January of 2021 through October of 2021, the 5 of us worked our blinking butts off, like talking to other studios about what it's like to co-own with multiple owners, and what about how do you scheduling and collecting money and all these things. And then on October 8th of 2021, we subletted from a local salsa studio that would let us like set our poles up and then take them down. And we did that we only did that until June.
June, yeah. Was when we got our first studio. Yeah, it happened fast.
It happened fast. Oh, because the classes, like there were like 10 people wait lists.
Yeah, when we started in that October of 2021, all of us kind of coming from learning from Allison, but having our different backgrounds. And we tried really hard in our conversations to like create our own thing, right? Like we were coming from Allison's teachings, but we wanted to, our biggest goal as Revolve Vermont was to try to make everything as accessible and as open to all types of different people and dancers and polers as possible. So that's always our biggest goal. And we were shocked. I mean, we probably have to thank Allison for building the community in the first place. But then we were shocked at how, I guess, just where pole was and its popularity. The first month we open, our classes are selling out, and there's just like wait lists. And now we're kind of, I still have people mention it to me now. They're like, your classes just fill up so fast. Just got to get in there. And I'm like, yeah, you do.
And we've kind of built slowly. Allison came on and taught with us from the day we opened for about a little over a year. She taught with us. She's like, I'll help you guys get started, because she and I were the only ones with prior dance experience. no, sorry, that was wrong. Teaching pole teaching experience, but like Savvie's been dancing for way longer than me, and like we had another teacher, like whatever, and so we kind of, the four of us got certified and learned and figured it out, and luckily we had a young pole community that, you know, was also learning pole, so they weren't trying to aerially invert. Heck, they weren't even inverting from the floor. I don't think we even offered inversion anything for the first year.
No, it's only now that we have some students in inversion, and we're like just barely getting to the point where we have some aerialists who might be building now. But yeah, everyone was starting from square one, so that was helpful for us too.
Yeah. And so in January, we had like, it was all the owners were teaching for the first year and a few months, and then this January we hired 3 new teachers, so we now have 8 teachers, right? Yes, Alex. Yes, the 4 owners plus Alex, Lexi, Christine, and Catherine.
Yes,
so
and they're all so awesome, and I love them so.
And they're so diverse, like different passions, different skills, different teaching styles. Like
that was the goal.
Diversity.
Yeah.
In the whitest damn state.
One of the whitest states in the country. But I have to say that I feel proud of us most of the time, because we're constantly learning and growing, and we always try to change things when we need to, when things come up. And I have to say, I was pretty impressed. We just we went to PoleCon together this year. We got a big group of us that went down, and it was one of those things where, you know, I'm not going to toot our own horn, but there was a lot of experiences with a lot of different teachers from all over the world, as there are at PoleCon. And I was just like, we don't use limiting language like that in our studio, or we don't do this in our studio. We are kind of more open than that. So I was just like, all right, we're doing a good job, because all these people are from all over. And I feel like we were pretty far on the spectrum of like being open and diverse, and trying to not, you know, gender things or limit things with body, or talk about like size and ability, stuff like that. We try to keep everything as open as possible.
In fact, remember when we opened, it was like, we are not calling these level 1 classes. We're not calling these level 2s. We're not being like, I'm a level 2 student. No,
we don't use levels.
We don't use levels. I mean, we understand levels. You're not inverting in your first months, and we have class. You can't just like dig in.
Yeah.
We try to drill, like, enjoy the journey, not the destination. Yeah, it's not about the trick. It's about feeling your body move in this way.
Yeah, we have safety parameters, and we have like goals that we hope people accomplish for safety reasons before they try harder things. But we did away with that. We have like intro to pole, climb and spin. We have like intro to spin as well, beneficial basics, which is your like your climbing basics, like Jasmine, stand, genie, figurehead, all that stuff to get into harder tricks. And then we have like inversion class, climbing prep classes. So we just, we didn't want to make people feel like their dance was like, you know, a value of some kind, like had anything to do with their worth.
And we do a lot of classes that are like tricks based and choreo based and sultry based, and we really encourage our students, if you're really attracted to like the sultry exotic kind, that's amazing. This is how you feel empowered. Be sure to give yourself the gift of the tricks classes. You're going to feel your body in different ways. If you're really into like the athletic, circusy, aerial stuff, that's amazing. Go get into the sultry stuff. You're going to go. So, you know, we also do like chair flow, which is just with the folding. She does, not me. We've started doing like workshops, like fish flop workshops and handstand workshops and just strength and conditioning workshops. So we're trying to not only offer a diverse amount of, which we can do with 8 teachers, but we're also trying to encourage people not to limit themselves with I only feel free in this form, so it's the only thing I should do. We're trying to say, no, you could feel free with a lot of different forms, test the waters with different teachers and different styles. Yeah, I kind of went off in a lot of directions.
But that's our studio. That's what we're about.
That's okay. You answered multiple questions in one. I mean, clearly all that you're doing is working. You said the classes are filling, which is amazing. We love hearing that. I love that you really emphasize the concept of diversity, and everybody's different, their bodies, no matter how, and you're here to pole dance no matter how you look, no matter what your size is and all that. That's so important.
Yeah, I find it, the one thing that I did find interesting as well, as far as like a business marketing perspective with studios at PoleCon, was that our studio is different because we're different, because we live in Vermont, Right. So Vermont, again, being a place that doesn't really have any strip clubs, people are kind of, our market works because people want dance as something to like enjoy, and maybe work towards things, or like it does work as the journey as opposed to a goal. And I noticed that only because a lot of the classes and teachers in other places move really fast, and they jump to things that we wouldn't jump to, and their expectations of like where you come in at are higher. And I think part of that is just like, maybe there's strip clubs there, people have more experience.
Well, the drive, that like that city drive of like, if you're sitting still, you're not profitable, you're not and if you're not on purpose, then you're failing, because the city needs people to go and constantly nonstop to keep this alive. And we're kind of like, yeah, the speed limit's 35, but I'm going to do 30. Like,
yeah, we do slow country pace.
who's got the next joint? Like, anybody got edibles? Like, I do. You're late for class. I've been late for class too.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah. And we do like a class for big bodies only. We do a class for BIPOC only. We do classes for over 40 only. We what else do we do? Are those our 3 niche?
I think those are our niche classes right now for groups that
just want to feel like
might feel uncomfortable otherwise. So it's nice to kind of let them have their own spaces. So
yeah, just to help them get kind of settled into the community and be like, oh, there's other 40 to 60-year-olds or 70-year-olds or more, we'd love them, who pole dance. Oh, there's, I can have any size body, but I don't feel comfortable surrounded by a bunch of young, thin bodies. Show me that I'm safe with my peers, and then I'll feel comfortable in the shared environments. Yeah.
Nice. I love that so much. I'm also really intrigued about the no levels system. And are all of your classes like sort of like all levels, and then you focus on like the spin pole, like you said, or like the sexier classes, or like how do you go about like how does that?
Yeah, we have actually, Vickie just made this beautiful poster for our studio to kind of help students with a guide for that. So I think almost all of our like erotic sultry type classes are beginner level, except for buttery base work, which is base work, so it's hard.
But it's hard.
And then there's intro to pole, and then I think.
Do you want me to rattle off what the streamline is?
Sure, you can.
I can picture it in my head. So we have 5 intro level classes, and we require people to take a minimum of 3 of any of those 5 in order before they go on to something else. And the intro level classes are intro to heels, intro to pole, BIPOC, big body, and over 40. So you got to take some combination of those 3. Once you've done that, you can start coming to the open practices. You can come to climb and spin, and you can come to build your body.
Basics.
Oh, and beneficial basics. And then once we don't have a requirement of how many of those you do. But it's basically, we say, stay in this area until you're curious about the next level. And then we have climb prep and
inversion prep.
No, that's the next level up. Climb prep and spin pole, because you need so much more strength for spin. And then we have unlock your inversion and buttery base work. So we basically have this little streamline that says, when you feel like you're curious about the next level, if you feel comfortable in one level, move up, and there's a little visual. So yes, we don't have the levels, but we do act in a level way, behind the scenes, kind of subtly.
Yeah. And the only big thing that we have is we do like to assess students before they go on to inversion, because once you're flipping upside down and you have that risk of neck injury, we just want to make sure that that you are strong and you're feeling good about working on some of those things. So we usually just have students talk to an instructor.
We do have that culture. It's like the students know to talk to whatever instructor they're with and be like, I've been thinking about, and we're like, yeah, you're ready. Or, I've been noticing whatever the thing that we do as teachers.
I enjoy the fact, and I think it's so clever that you took the level system and kind of made your own stepping stool for it, like your own stairway for your community, which is awesome. I know it's hard to I try to set up my classes the same way, and it's kind of difficult, you know, everybody wants to cover something different. So it's nice to see that it does work. I just need to learn how to do it more.
Well, and it is true. We've all struggled. I don't think there's any exception to the problem of 10 students show up and one of them is a level 4 in a level 2, and 3 of them have never been in a level 2 before, but they're ready to move up. And one of the things a lot of us do is we try to like come to each pole and watch each student do it, so we can be like, we can help the level 4 person experience that move in their level 4 body and the level, like, so we try to do, not every class is like that, but we do try to have time we have longer classes too. I've been to a lot of pole studios across the country, and they're all like 50 to 60 minute classes, and we do 75 minutes. So we're not rushing warm up and cool down. And so there is time to spend 10 minutes going around the room and working with all the students individually, if that's what that class teacher is doing for
that. And our teachers are really good about, because we've had a lot of teaching discussions, and sometimes we change stuff if it's not working, of course. But we have, most of our teachers will come prepared with like, here's my base lesson for today. Here's ways that I can make it harder. Here's ways that we can break it down into training pieces if it's not coming together yet.
Right. I really love that. That does allow students to not feel like they're stuck in a level, like they can kind of choose their own adventure if they like. And also like I also like that you have like the beneficial basics class, because I feel like the basics are always beneficial at any level, and how else are you going to get people to take it and refresh their memory? Because sometimes you get bad habits, but it is always good to go back to those beneficial basics.
Yeah. And
I love that.
I like, because in a normal class, you know, we have our set thing and we create variations, so hopefully meet everybody's needs. But I do like the idea of separating the goals. Like you have your climbing class, you have your inversions class, you have your, you know, those different things that have those specific goals in mind, rather than like a piece of this, a piece of that, a piece of this.
Yeah. And we try to encourage students, like I'll teach a climbing prep class and be like, you will see me be a student sharing a pole with you in climb prep. I've been dancing for 7 years. I can get up and down this pole 6 times without breaking a sweat. Joke. And you will still see me coming to climb prep, because I'm always strengthening that core base move for everything else. So I was like, so check your egos, folks. If your ego says, oh, I don't need to do climb prep anymore, watch out. You might be more destination motivated than journey motivated, and you can only live right now. So like, if you want to get in the studio, go to an intro pole. I know you're level 3, but you're still going to have an amazing workout and hang out with incredible people in an intro class. So go, you know.
I always tell people that too, because I'm such a basics person. Like I will be like, you know, are you sure that you don't need to work on your fans? Because I'm pretty sure your fan kicks could probably be better, actually, if you were going to train them. Not only that, but like my choreo is always intro. Like even if I'm performing, if I'm doing that, for the most part, it's all intro choreo, because that's what I like. I don't need to get up there.
Right, I love it. It's not about the tricks, it's about how you do them.
It's about the community. It's about loving yourself. It's about enjoying living, and it just happens to be pole. And if it's not pole, it's tap. And if it's not tap, it's gardening. And if it's not gardening, it's reading as many books as you possibly can before you exit this planet. I don't know, but like, spend time learning who you are, and then get up in the morning and go, oh, look, I did things today that I liked. Let's just keep.
That's what I want to do. I just want to pole dance.
Can we just stop being productive and just enjoy our lives?
Like enjoyment is not productive.
It can be if you own a pole studio.
I think there's ways to be productive and enjoy. Maybe if what you're being productive with brings you enjoyment, but then we have muggle work, and you're just like, I need to pay these bills, and I have
work.
Oh, you haven't heard that? You don't know enough strippers, Vickie. I heard that.
Stickers that say muggle work. Can we do some muggle work?
There's lots of things that have that joke on it. That's what burlesque dancers use that for their
awesome. I pole dance. Wait, I muggle work so I can pole dance. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm sure that exists somewhere.
Oh, we need to have like some kind of sticker like that made. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Oh, wow. I charge commission fee. No, I'm joking. That's all.
You send me your Venmo tag when we're done.
Vickie would pay you.
No, enjoy, make that money. That's a great idea. But yeah, oh my goodness. So we went. Are your classes offered online?
No online classes for us. We only do IRL.
IRL. I'm having a blank.
In real life. Sorry,
Lord.
AIM days.
Oh yeah.
I should have known that.
Oh, and how many
Yeah.
poles do you have in your studio?
6.
Ah,
And if I have it my way, maybe next year we'll do liras. I'll get certified and we'll.
There's lots I think you and Catherine will bring the silks.
Yes.
You get the lira, sure. I won't come to any.
yay.
Oh, you would be. Sorry. Topic for after the poll.
How tall are your poles? Should we get into like more about the studio?
13 feet, I believe.
Like 13 or
Ooh.
13 and a half.
Yeah. Man, one of the things that I know that y'all were thinking about asking was like challenges for the pole studio. The freaking ceiling heights and like finding a place with the ceiling height, the right height. And then like we had to buy extensions and they were like the wrong ones.
So
And we
we
had
had
to
to
get
go back.
different ones. I was like, oh my God, it was a
Yes.
pain in the butt.
Right. I always like to hear about the challenges. I mean, I don't like to hear about them, but it makes me feel better about the challenges that I experience because
Yeah,
it is
the
hard to
ceiling
find
heights
a
was a big one.
space.
It was just
Yeah.
awkward. It was just like if we were like 6 inches taller or 6 inches shorter, it would have been with everything. It would have been fine. But we were just this weird.
We figured
Count
it
on
out.
Vermont to be unique.
We figured it out. It's fine.
We're never leaving this space. Has anybody checked the height of the church next door? So when they move out and we take over their space,
It's knocked down the
like
wall.
just knock down the wall and take
Yeah.
over the church. But I don't know if they have regular ceilings in there, and that's not going to
We can
work.
peek in there.
That'd be cool though. That would be so beautiful.
Yeah. Is there a church bell? You could set it up to announce every pole class.
I wish. It's just it's like a shared building space. So there's like office department places and there happens to be a church right next to us.
They're very nice,
right.
like really nice. Sunday mornings when we overlap with their services, they're very non-judgmental.
Yeah,
and
they're
kind,
friendly.
which is
Oh,
nice.
that's beautiful to hear. We're also like kind of sandwiched between two churches on Sundays, and we have to start our classes later so that we can park.
Oh.
That makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah, and are you still the only pole studio in Vermont, or are there other pole studios?
Not anymore. There's other
Wow.
studios that have opened up in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
There's a dance studio, Lines, who's been doing all kinds of different dance for a while, and they teach pole now at Lines Studio. There's Rivers Way just opened up in Montpelier, which is cool because Vermont is very like spread out. It's like there's a little town and then nothing for miles and then a little town. And so people don't do a lot of driving in the south of the state. So I think Montpelier definitely needed a studio down there. And then
There's the 2 poles at the on Church Street, where Michelle teaches.
oh, the Swan Dojo.
The dojo, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
Is she still doing that?
I think so that's Seven Veils is the teacher, but I believe that she's kind of a traveling studio right now. I don't know where her
That's a good
roots
idea.
are in that.
But it's really
place.
there's really only 2 true pole studios, Rivers and us. And then Lines is like they do everything,
And pole.
and they have like 6
Stage
stage poles.
We're the ones who, and I think Rivers Way and us are like aerial focused.
Yeah, that's our niche.
foremost, and then we have extra stuff.
Yeah. So, and we're very psyched. We're like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, I don't know if you heard the national news when our state capitol was under like 400 bazillion gallons of water and everything. I mean, the aerial photos of our state capitol with just everything in the streets, people just unloaded, and the pole studio got hit. And so we emailed them and said, hey, if you want to come, I don't know if your people want to come to Burlington, but we'll give you our studio and you could teach classes here. And they were like, actually, thank you so much, but we're okay. So we want them to do well. We want pole to be, we want it to be a freaking community.
Yeah, we're
it
big
doesn't have to
community
be
here.
us.
Yeah, we just want there to be a community, so we're happy.
I don't want to be judged, and I don't want to judge people. Can we just all get along?
Also, it's kind of like, I always talk about it like, it's like when your parents get divorced and you need to do best for the child. For me, I'm like, competition is a thing, sure, but what's best for the students? It's going to be variety. It's going to be multiple locations. It's going to be multiple different teachers with different backgrounds, right?
And we have lots of students, because Lines is near us. We have lots and lots of students that take both studios. And because neither one of us are peeing on the other one, my hydrant, this is my thing, it's a healthy community. People don't feel bad when they go to Lines and take a pole class, or they come to us and they take a pole class and then say we're better.
Well, it depends on the style.
Well, their teacher is incredible.
She's very like professional, hardcore, like dancer her whole life. And so some people go there and they're like, this is what I want this. And some people are like, this is too much, I don't want this, I can't handle it, I need something a little more easygoing, and we're the easy
we'll baby it and then we'll send you back over. Yeah, she's been like a ballet dancer her whole life.
And contemporary and stuff.
That's it. She's got to take a class.
I also want to take her class.
You know what? Maybe that's what we do in the summer. We go and sign up for a class with her.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Keep talking about it.
You two are just too funny.
Right, though, I really appreciate that you reach out to other studios, because it's so important, and it is important to build a community, and we shouldn't be struggling alone. Like yeah.
I feel as the pole fitness community is building, not all, but some studios are starting to get, how do I say, kind of restrictive and the kind of people they allow in, and I don't know, like, I feel like they try to make a name for themselves, but they exclude certain people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. We had a conversation kind of similar about this recently, because we we're not everyone's cup of tea either. We are very sex work positive, stripper positive forward, because we didn't like how that would be erased sometimes in the pole fitness community. And although we do have multiple different teachers who come from different backgrounds and they teach differently, and not everybody teaches that style. We've got people teaching all types of different styles, but we do have a little bit of a reputation for being the kind of sensual pole studio, which is fine, but there are folks who aren't as comfortable with that. So that was something that we were like, oh, maybe we should make an effort to be a little more inclusive to everybody there, because we're, like I said, we're not all like that. I'm like that. Vickie is not.
Yeah.
Vickie's
funny. I'm just such like middle class white woman, and I'm an executive for a very, very successful marketing business. And one of the things that I do every time I onboard new clients, in usually groups of 10 to 20 or so, I say to them that one of the things you won't see in my bio as an executive is that I'm a professional pole dancer and teacher, and that I own Vermont's largest pole dancing studio. But I don't put it in my bio because people misunderstand it, that I strip professionally, which I have every single right to do and be respected for my choices. And then I lean back and I go, I don't do that kind of pole dancing, and I fully support the people who identify and are supported and are living their best life through that. And I want to encourage people not to judge each other. So even as an executive who's representing millions and millions of dollars worth of revenue and marketing throughout the state, I talk about sex positivity, and I encourage people to, I don't care whether they pole dance or not, but can we just remove the stigma of like being sexual?
Yeah. Then stripping is on my resume. So
it'll be on my next one, on my next journey.
Everyone knows at my job. So.
I love it. Thank you for.
I think also with Vermont's population, we couldn't, it wouldn't, having a niche of being like female only or sultry, exotic only, or there's just not enough people to niche that way anyway. And we're from Bernie Sanders land, fight for the little guy, which is the way we live. Like, this is be kind to people, let them make their choices, let them live their journey. And that's why, I mean, and that's why when I hear about other studios that have niches, it's like, okay, but you live in a place that has
That you can do that.
1,000,003. I mean, this entire state has 600,000 people. The entire state, our largest city, has 35,000 people in it.
Yeah, Rhode Island has more people than we do.
Yeah, and they're like, so like, if you live in a place that where the city alone has 1,000,000 people, and you have 3 studios, and one is like female only, and one is like circus only, and one is like, you know, whatever, then sure, because all of the people are being represented in their community. The bummer about that is in those areas is creating I'm in the female only studio, I'm in the circus only, like and that's one of the things I love about us, is it's like, do it all, or just respect it all, like identify that it's there and that it's a beautiful thing.
And that's another, like, you know, getting into this is like logistics of marketing and owning a pole studio in certain states. And our state is also very this is why we can't we have to like be positive with our community, with each other, you know what I mean? Because it's such a small place that if we were to decide that we're not going to support, or we were going to be like negative towards one of the other studios, then that's so much of our community that we're kind of cutting off. And it gets very like, it feels very
well, then we have to be competitive, and we have to be limited in our thought, and then we have to be defensive, and
it just doesn't work.
There's plenty to go around. There's enough dance and art and beauty. And if there isn't,
we'll make it.
We'll just meet up every week, work out together. And the business will go down, and we'll
hang out with our poles. Yeah.
We'll do the 30 of us that remain. But you know, once pole hits the Olympics, we're effed. We're gonna need another studio.
We need 6 more teachers.
We're gonna need double our teaching load. We're gonna have to teach like body and pole in New York City from like 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day.
If I could quit my job, honestly, great. Quit my day job. It's great.
I can't wait for pole to hit Olympics, because then I feel like there will be a shift in America where you'll start seeing more children start at a young age to really get ready, which I think would be incredible, because you see that in other countries, but not so much here, unfortunately.
I was thinking it might be cool if we started offering an under 16 pole class once a month, just to see what happens. I mean, the problem with that is there's nowhere for them to go after that, because we don't allow under 16, but like,
so you talk about it. Put it in the list.
I'll put it in the board meeting notes for later.
Certain states make it so hard, like you have to get extra insurances. It's really sad.
Yeah, we'll have to look into it.
Litigious society, got to protect yourselves.
Yeah,
it's gymnastics, we wear the same outfits.
Gymnastics. I literally had, so one of my so I usually offer the BIPOC pole class every month, and it's kind of like a pole play time, but I also usually will do some intro, because people will come who have never touched a pole before, and I had a special a grouping of these that was sponsored by a local I guess they're like a homestead. What is Conscious Homestead?
Conscious Homestead.
Yeah, they're like a farm and growing opportunity for BIPOC Black owned business here, and they sponsored a bunch of the BIPOC classes, and they specifically, we talking about like history stuff, and the children and polling made me think of it, because I went into this whole history of like Malakambh and Chinese pole, and how this is like yoga and wrestling and athleticism and acrobatics and stuff. And yes, we have this nice combo with sex work as well, which we also respect, but you also have this whole acrobatic side.
I love that you are able to talk about that. We created an episode on the history of pole, little marketing there, and we got to learn so much about the Malakam and how it was used for Indian wrestling and the Chinese pole. And it was so beautiful to learn past just the stripping history. It was really nice.
That's awesome. I'll have to go listen to that.
It was a fun episode. Mændy did an amazing job researching. It was difficult for me to find the research, but it was nice.
Right. There's not too much out there, but hopefully with all of our hive minds, we'll create all of the history that's missing. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, how many, you said you had multiple owners. Did you start off, did you say you have 4 owners or 5?
We started with 5 and we have 4 now.
Ah,
One
and
of
are you,
us, our lives got really busy, so we had to choose.
that makes sense, yeah. But are you an LLC? What type of business structure do you have?
We're an LLC.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we talked to another studio recently that they, I believe they were also an LLC, but they had 11 owners.
Fly Together.
Yes, yeah.
I
Yeah,
remember.
Fly Together has 11. Yeah. In fact, we contacted them in 2021 before we opened, and they sent us their bylaws and their operating agreement and everything, and just said, hopefully this helps you.
Yeah, I think you had like an interview or something with
Yeah.
them where you talked to them about how they work with all their ownership.
Because Alice, the woman who owned the previous pole studio, was like, I really don't recommend co-owning this. And I was like, we all have full-time jobs. We all have, what was it? Muggle work?
Yes.
Oh, so good. So good. Okay.
Yeah.
And so we had to, like, there was absolutely no way. In fact, I don't know how we would do it with 3.
I literally
Like,
think about that
the
all the
4
time.
of us,
I have
like, this,
no
like-
idea how we would do it without each other. We're very perfect. If we're like corners on a table.
Yes.
Right
And
now.
Fly Together, they changed their roles around.
I don't want to
And
do
I don't want to do that. Like, I was like, remember we talked about that in the beginning, and now I'm like,
No.
can I just answer email? Can I just please be in charge? Can you please just? I'm
like,
not. I'm
if I
not
have
doing
to log
social
out,
media.
If I have to log out of the social media, I will be really panicked.
She
about
does all the social media. I do all the emails. One of us does all the scheduling, and the other one does all the finances. And then we like hop in for little things like whatever, buying towels and rubbing alcohol for this. Like, we kind of pop in and like handle little things, but
Yeah. And we have meetings and we like, discuss things, and we'll share things as equally as we can. But yeah, we like our roles.
Yeah. I'm like, do you want to start doing all the graphic design? Because I like the graphic design. I'm having fun with that.
You can do the graphic design.
Okay.
Please do the graphic design.
Yeah. So it's been really awesome. And I'm so glad. And the few times that we've had like disagreements, we remind ourselves we're all here for the same reason. Just because we're coming at this from different directions doesn't mean that we have to be angry at each other. And it is always majority rules. So if 3 are in and the 4th is not, it's like, you got to accept that. We're all here for the same reason. We're all getting something done.
And it always makes things better. The only reason we ever have disagreements is because people feel different ways, and therefore our students probably feel different ways. So then it always works out to improve the business, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we encourage discord, because there's a lot of, and we respect each other. And it's funny because the 4 of us are not the kind of people that would hang out outside of pole. Like, yes,
not all of us, not all 4 of us,
not all 4 of us. And we every week we have a board meeting, and we look forward to, and we have fun. We're like, this is such a good use of time. Like, I wish the rest of my life was like my board meeting.
I know.
Yeah.
Love it so much. Thank you for sharing a little bit about the behind the scenes stuff too, because it's so important to, I think, to show everyone that like your pole studio could be any way that it works for you. For some people, it works for a sole owner. Some people have, partners. Some people have 11.
Yeah. And when we do hit problems, we just kind of look at each other and go, our mission is inclusivity and diversity for everybody. So how does that answer this problem? Oh, it does. Great. We're done. That's our mission answered that question. There have been many times where we're like, and then we're like, oh yeah, the mission done. We're done with this. The mission answered the question.
Yes, I love that. Right. It's so important to have like the plan, like everything, like why you're doing this, and then just keeping that reminder so that you stay on track. Yeah.
Helps us scale it down. Not scale it down, scale it to size so we're not off in multiple tangents and directions.
Yeah, for sure. Well, do you, let's see. You said your studio, what year did the studio open?
2021.
2021, right after COVID then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're right.
Was it?
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't
that's true.
Like 2020 and 2021?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Getting it.
We
It's
did the
like,
thing like you had to when you came into class, you had to show us your COVID card.
Oh,
You had
yeah.
to stay masked.
Yeah, I feel like the masks are so recently gone. We wore masks forever.
We wore masks
Yeah.
until, what do you think, 3 months ago?
A few months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, because we still had people who had to be masked in a group environment because of their safety. And we said, that's the minority. That's the inclusivity. So just because you're healthy and don't need a mask doesn't mean there isn't somebody who is healthy but has to have a mask because of what their living situation is. And we're an inclusive. So we always stand up for the people who need the support, not the people who don't need it. And we drilled that. And
I think it was fine. Our students were cool with it.
by the time when we lifted it, no problem. Like the whole community, and we still have people that wear masks.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sarah wears masks every time. I'm trying to think of the few people I've seen do it.
And we were one of the most highly vaccinated states too, so I think that was helpful.
Yeah, and we still have like right at the door the masks and the Purell. So if anybody wants one, just like help yourself. We're happy to provide them. They're not being used anymore, but they're there.
Yeah.
That's so perfect. Right. There are still a lot of like people who are unable to participate in group fitness activities because of it. Yeah, it's so hard to find the balance, I think, too. And then I think also like they said that we should all start wearing masks again because the numbers are up.
I heard
it's
about
really
this too.
hard to navigate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not excited about it because I'm going on vacation soon and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get COVID probably.
Right. Yeah.
I just had someone reach out to me and say, hey, I was exposed to COVID. You might need to get checked. I was like, what the hell? I expected it to be going around, but it was a nice, fresh reminder that it's still close by.
Yep, we can only hope that it just slowly gets better.
Right. Yeah.
But,
Well, did you have any trouble marketing your classes? You said that you had like 10 people on the wait list, which is amazing. Oh, that's like a whole other class.
Yeah, it is. I don't even remember. I think we were very word of mouth when we first started. Word of mouth, and I think our benefit was having the established community as well as each other because there were so many of us. So I feel like word of mouth between like the 5 owners at the time and the folks who used to dance with Allison, also knowing that we were opening, kind of gave us that little bit of thing, as well as like the building we're in is kind of community based as well, where there's lots of different dancers and businesses and stuff. And so everybody heard about us opening and told their friends about us. And we built the Instagram as we were starting. And I feel like I do pretty good on social media with it. I know social media doesn't work for everybody, but I
mean, that actually probably helped is that all of us have been dancing in the area for years with pole, so that when we remember that like multi slide that you made that was the picture of all of us at Bohemienne.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, hey, wanted to let you all know that in a few weeks we're going to be open. So we already had like Savvie had a bunch of followers for her Insta. I had a bunch of so if if combined there were 1,500 or 2,000 people following the 5 of us, then a lot of the community was knowing about this from that. But yeah, we have not done any marketing.
I think we bought like one Instagram ad once, and that was when Roz the Diva came up here. So I was like, people need to get in Roz's class. So we advertised for that. And then I think we just recently recently offered to advertise in the Pride Parade stuff. That's Vermont is weird, and we do Pride in September. I don't know what that's about, but we offered to do some advertising there, but other than that, I don't think we've done really hardly any.
And I don't think we're really advertising to get advertising. I think we're doing it to support Pride.
No, yeah, we did it because we were like, we like Pride and we want to be in the Pride Parade.
Yeah, we're doing everything Pride Parade this year. We're in the parade, we're in the main stage, we're a vendor, we're advertising.
We wanted to hang out at Pride.
Have fun. That's exciting.
That sounds so awesome.
I know, right?
Are there any other like community events that you guys do, or just the Pride, or is there anything else?
I heard
our two big things are we do 3 showcases a year. That's Savvie's.
Yeah, I do the showcases. Yeah. We do 3 showcases a year. We're actually going to change them up a little bit too, because we want to kind of include more styles. like purposefully include more styles in it. But essentially the showcases, I feel like, are very community, because we kind of invite all the students to perform if they want to, and or just come out and hang out, support, help us put on a little bit of a show. So it's really like dance recital and community bringing together, as opposed to like a show to get audience. It's like we just want the students to come hang out with each other and like dance for each other. So I think that's a big one. I feel like the niche groupings that we offer are kind of community based, like the 40 plus and the big body and the BIPOC class. The BIPOC class is also free because of all of the things that I like hear from the communities about how one of the best things that you can do for BIPOC is give them money. So I figure this class being free is probably helpful, especially that's a whole side note, but I was like, well, also the pole industry does profit a lot off of Black femmes, but you know, that's my whole other side rant. And then
the other thing we do is 3 times a year we do workshops. Oh, okay, I'll do that and then you do that. Okay, so so another thing that we do is we gosh, I think that this is gonna be our 3rd one. We bring in people from out of state to teach classes 3 times a year. So Roz the Diva was here last year. We had a teacher from New York City come up in June. We've got a teacher from Hudson, New York coming up in October. We've got a doubles 2 women coming from Utah next February, and I'm hoping we'll get Bentley Rebel for next June, but we'll see if that works out with his schedule.
Yeah, we try to get again for the students, like different teachers, diversity, and bring them up, different bodies, different styles, different backgrounds. And then the scholarship program, we have a scholarship program too, where folks will simply submit if they feel like they need financial support doing pole, and then we will randomly pick somebody and they will get a 3 class pass, right?
Yeah.
3 class pass.
So we pull 3 winners every month, and we don't require anything. We don't IRS audit them.
No, you just tell us you need help.
And that's, and so we advertise that. It's a big poster in our studio, and the teachers are like, remember, if you need financial aid for pole, do this, please. It's the honor code. So if you don't, please don't water down the pool for the people who really can't dance without the scholarship. That's been really cool.
Yeah, I'm happy we do that.
Yeah, so that's so far our community involvement. And now that we're getting more and more attention, like we just got picked up by Backyard.
Backyard Burlington.
And I wonder what'll happen when that goes live.
Yeah.
But more and more, like, you guys reached out to us, like, so just by being like a Vermont, which is odd enough, pole studio, which is also odd, that combination makes us kind of stand up and we get attention. So we'll just kind of keep following things that fall in our lap, and if they speak to our mission of inclusivity and diversity through movement, then we will pursue it. And assuming one of us has the bandwidth to undergo like something new, because Pride Vermont it's a lot. Pride stuff's gonna take a lot of energy. So that.
Yeah, so exciting. I can't wait to see what the future has in store for y'all.
Right, so many amazing things. Do you have your showcases in your studio, or do you rent out a space, or how does that work?
They're in the studio. We bring in the students to hang out. So I do a lot of shows, like I do burlesque and pole, and because we don't have a strip club, what I can do is I can go do nightlife stuff. So I get to take my clothes off for money at bars. So that's what I do. It's like just go do that. So I try to make the showcases super different from that. So the showcases are, I'm hoping I want them to feel more like us all hanging out together. And we do that in the studio.
And there's this new cool thing where the month of our showcases, Savvie does like a choreo series over the month. And then so there's a group performance at the showcase that happened. Was it last showcase the first time you did that?
No, I did the one before.
The one before that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like, and our poles they don't come down, but they can, like, that we can easily manage them.
It takes a lot.
So we'll usually do like the group number with everybody kind of crammed up on the sides of the walls, and then we'll take 4 of the poles down and leave 2 of them up for the performances. So there's plenty of room. We usually get 50 to 70 people in that studio.
We cram that thing.
Yeah, if there's COVID in that room, we are sharing it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's, you know what, actually, that should make the next board meeting about if COVID numbers are coming up. We didn't require masks the last showcase.
Yeah. We can talk
We
about
should
it.
just get it on the board and make sure we cover it before.
Yeah,
Case.
yeah.
I know, crappy fuck.
Yeah,
I
but
love
I
it.
think
Sorry.
I like doing the group class too, because not everybody is like, some people are like, well, I want to participate in the showcase, but I don't know what to do, or I don't want to like I don't know how to make my own thing or what to do. So I'm like, take the class and then we'll just do what we learn in class.
Mhm. Or put a song on and freestyle.
Yeah.
Just move your body. We will support you. That is if you make it into the list. If 70 people want in.
Last time it was like 14 and that was a lot. So
Yeah.
I gotta start to.
Have you figured out what your cap is, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. I'm so glad you do that.
I do it for all the other shows. So
Oof.
I love it.
Or not banter, but your side talk of the business is funny. It's
that's how it is. It's very much like, oh, and then you write it down. Yeah.
Somebody get that into the Google Doc.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to remember it in a second. I'm not going to remember
Right.
any, except that we need to take Placid lines. That's the
I'll
only
remember after we hang up, we'll write everything down.
thing. Good. You.
too for the ADHD of pole dancers.
Right.
This is why this studio would never have survived if it was just one of us. Like, we really need 4 brains.
Oh my gosh, I feel that's so hard. If it is not written down,
It doesn't exist.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Shit, even sometimes if it is written down, if it's like not written in your face, if
right.
Yes, that.
I do want to, this is my favorite question. So I know Savvy said she loves the kind of buttery flow, the sultry, erotic. And then Vickie said she loves the tricks. What are your favorite pole moves or your pole nemesis? Or both.
I will go first. I think my favorite pole move is long sit, which I always say because it's simple, but it's really fun, and it's a nice way to get up there and feel like you're flying, and it looks really kind of impressive, I guess. But it's just like you start getting up to your climb, and I'm just like, oh, I want to spin, and I'll just like long sit. My nemesis is probably, it's got to be inversion, honestly. I finally got my inversion after like 7 years of training it, and now it is reliable, but I still don't do it.
Understand?
I love shoulder mount. It's like it doesn't even matter if it's an inversion class, I'm in a shoulder mount. I love shoulder mount. But I also will normally, there's too many pictures of me doing tulip on Instagram because I really love tulip. And I also have a really flexy back, and I really, really like brass monkey variations because I can just bow, do tons. I just like that hang.
Oh yeah, if we're talking about off the pole moves, it's fish flop for me for sure.
Fish flop, yes. Yes. And then nemesis, my gosh, everything I haven't learned. I have a very, very short ape index, so I have to compensate constantly with very short limbs. And so I can't Superman because my hands are so small that I can't reach around the pole. Even a 45 millimeter, I can't reach all the way around of it. Because my arms are so small, I can't reach behind the pole and grab the pole behind my back. I have to be hyper flexible in my shoulder. So there's a lot of basic moves that I watch everybody else do, and I'm just like T-Rex over here. So it's all these long body things, but I'm really strong. So
it's true.
I can do strong things where my body faces the pole.
I love it for sharing that, honestly.
Right.
We all have different bodies, and we all like what we want for sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I do love me a long sit though. That's probably my go-to every time I'm up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Long sit. Now something else. Do you have a specific pole grip that you guys like to use, or a hand grip, body grip? Girly
I'm a
grip.
girly grip girly. Whenever my body sometimes will get dry, and I do really like pole poise for that. But mostly I'm made of sweat, so it's girly grip for me.
And I have a medical condition where I don't sweat, so I find dew point to be very helpful. And I use it. I use like 3 different grips. It depends on where it is on my body. So like ITAC is for the pits. And then either girly grip or that stuff from Polcon, that arrow, the stuff.
Oh, the
Cadet,
Neo stuff. Yeah.
I really like it.
I don't remember that guy's name, but he made a good product. I like his product too. I have it in my bag.
Some like Aero, AERO, something.
Gotta find the bottle.
Yeah, it's in my bag downstairs. But yeah, so ITAC, do grip, do point, girly grip or
this new one.
Yeah, that new one. And I will occasionally, when I'm having a Vickie, you can do no good day, I will pull out the glue from Monkey Hands, the green bottle, because that's just like, wow, nothing is working. So let's just stick myself to the pole and not move from it. Yeah. So I use the glue from Monkey.
I also have everything. I just have favorites.
How about you? What's your preferred grips? Because we're always learning about grips.
I will say I am now addicted to that Monkey Hands glue green.
Monkey Hands is,
if not a close second that really helps the stick sometimes too much, is the Kramer spray.
Oh, I've never heard of Kramer spray.
Yes, they have 2 kinds. There's a grip spray and then there's an adhesive tape spray. The grip spray is pretty good, but the adhesive one will really it could rip your skin.
Okay. See, and I get nervous about carrying those in the studio because then the students rely on the grip instead of their strength. But having it a little bit,
it's good to learn about them.
Yeah, Kramer. Kramer.
Right, I don't think I've ever seen that one either.
Jot that down.
Oh my gosh, I ended up being
give it a try.
Right.
Yeah.
I ended up being allergic to a lot of the grips. Last year, they all just started irritating my skin. I was getting rashes, but the one that I use now is the Lupite pad. That one's pretty good for me. Yeah, I don't get any rashes from it so far.
Hopefully,
the Lupite pad used to work well for me, but after a couple months, I don't know if my body changed or maybe the season, it stopped.
Seasonal is totally real.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it might be the season. Yeah.
Yeah, here in Vermont, I mean, it's just so. I mean, we're all in New England, right?
Yeah,
it's just so moist.
Yeah.
In the summer, and is so damn dry in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So it's like up the winter pole stuff comes out, up the summer pole stuff comes out.
Correct.
Right. My knee pits do not stick in the winter. It's over.
They're so dry. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Although one of our teachers just introduced us to what's the lotion? Pole physics.
Oh yeah.
And I tried it for the first time. And I was really, really impressed because I just stopped. I haven't worn lotion on my body in years because of pole dancing. But I did it. I've only done it once. So I'm only speaking from getting out of the shower and putting lotion on my body once, but I was I only taught an intro class and then taught the handstand class, but I didn't need grip at all as I taught that intro class.
That's what I've heard from everybody who's ever used that stuff. Yeah. So I hear good reviews. I haven't tried mine yet. Okay.
Yeah, I tried that too, and I also thought it was pretty good. I didn't try it right before I went pole dancing, but I did that day, and it was totally fine.
I know it does say to use within a certain number of hours, but I showered the day before and then taught the class the next night, and it was great. So, but again, I don't sweat, so I don't have that moisture exchange on my skin that most people have.
I'm covered in sweat right now.
And yet she smells amazing.
I try. I wear perfume.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Do you have any advice for beginner pole dancers that you'd like to share?
Pole dancers in general, beginner pole dancers in general. Have fun. That's the biggest thing. There's not the only rule is really people are going to tell you there's rules. The only rule is be safe and try not to hurt yourself. Really, you can make whatever shapes you want. Do whatever you want. Have fun.
Having probably pole danced at more studios than anyone else in the state of Vermont. I've probably danced at 30 different studios
around the world.
Yeah, when I travel globally, I take pole classes in different countries. And if there's one thing I've learned is that the pole community seems to be unanimously open and accepting, with the exception of one studio, and I won't say where it is, but I was like, you are toxic and I hope you don't survive. This was a broken, and it was only one teacher, but I was like, this is broken. This is not healthy for anything. But this is a very shockingly kind community, and PoleCon only reestablished that over and over for me. Nobody gives a shit how good you are. Nobody cares what you look like. Nobody cares that you had 17 years of ballet, or you've been at a computer gaming your entire life and you decided to pole dance for the first. Nobody cares. You know what people care about is crappy attitudes. You got a bad attitude, there isn't a yardstick long enough to keep you away from us. And that's what I want to say to the beginners is, welcome to the family. Yes, some studios might be a little bit more intense. Some might have their niche, but generally speaking, this is a shockingly accepting and non-judgmental. And damn, I wish my opera career was like that. And damn, I wish my marketing industry was like that. And I wish my last job as an insurance agent was like that. What this world would be like if it were like the pole dancing global world, pole dancing community. Welcome, newbies. You're welcome.
Yes, welcome. I love that. Thank you for sharing both those advice from both of you.
That was really beautiful. You're absolutely right. I do think that the pole dance community is like ahead of the curve of all the other industries, and everyone should just look at us.
There are a couple out there, unfortunately, but yeah, we don't need to worry about them.
They're the minority.
They are.
Well, do you have any advice for anyone who would like to open a studio?
Yeah.
Oh my God, so much advice.
Manage your expectations constantly. It is not going to be what you think it is. And if you're willing to go with the flow and be vulnerable and be curious, there's a high likelihood you'll enjoy the experience.
Yeah, mine is very similar. It's very like change is the only constant, pretty much. So don't expect to get into something and have it be exactly what you want and stay that way, because it will just constantly change, and you have to kind of roll with that if you're going to have a studio and serve a community.
Yep, and just because one pole community says this works and this doesn't mean it won't work for you. Just like any business or nonprofit, it's very dependent on the human being running it. So your personality is going to affect how to efficiently run the books, or how to efficiently schedule teachers, or how to efficiently do social media and effectively. There's no such thing as a duplicate studio experience. Yes, we might have similarities and we share ideas, but no two studios are alike, which might be another reason why the pole community is so accepting, because we're all just
doing our thing.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And I think I have one more. Where do you, oh Lord, where do you see yourself in 5-10 years in the pole community? Or, I mean, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years of pole dance in general?
Pole dance in general. I still feel like I'll be here. Like on my personal journey, I want to pole dance forever. I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I very recently started like consistently producing my own shows around the area. And so I hope that will just grow. Maybe I can travel. Maybe I can travel more and dance in other places. Maybe I can quit my day job and just do my studio and my dancing. That would be great. I like my day job, but it's a lot of work. That would be ideal for me.
Oh, there's a tomorrow? Because I'm here right now. I don't know what you're talking about. I am working really hard at not living to. So I was like, you asked that, and I'm like, I'll be over 45 years old. I hope to be just as active and healthy as I work my way towards leaving the meat suit behind whenever that happens. I just hope I keep getting up every day and loving what I do.
Yeah, that's good. Me too.
So whether, I don't know if pole's going to be in my life in 5 years, probably it will be, but will I get hit by a car as I drive to meditation tomorrow morning? I will figure out my life. I will figure out a good life after that. It'll be different and it won't have pole, or maybe it will.
Maybe it will.
maybe I do a wheelchair class.
You probably will. You love pole too much to stop doing pole. You would never stop pulling. Even if you lost all your limbs, you'd still pull down.
Like, hey, there's people doing it.
I know there are people
I
who
was
do
like,
it.
Vickie, you got real existential right
Yeah.
Well,
That's kind of how Vickie is.
I am I'm very, yes, I am very that all the time.
I like
I
the
love it.
Very, what do you call that? Hippie or woo woo. I'm very woo woo.
You are, and it's great.
Focus together. Let me stop.
Right, gotta live in the moment.
It is a growing niche, pole dancers with disabilities, so anything is possible. I think if you really work hard at it, you could do it, even in a wheelchair.
Totally,
Hey,
for sure.
I follow somebody on Insta who does that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So,
Right. I do really think pole dance is for everyone. That's why
Yes.
it's so beautiful.
It
Mhm.
is. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience? Anybody listening? Maybe a shout out? Anything?
Shout out to our other
yeah, I was
owners who
gonna
are
say
here.
Olivia and Ava.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olivia and Ava,
Mhm.
what real ones, what
Oh my
hardcore
gosh.
folks.
There's no way we would be here. Like we're not the face of this. It's the four of us. We are an
Very
equal.
even.
Yeah. So the fact that you're getting the two of us, you're missing. You only have 49%. The other 51% are with their baby and their puppy and their
It's true.
spouses and whatever.
It's true.
So-
Definitely shout out to them.
Yeah. And our 4 teachers.
I love our teachers so much.
Oh my
They're all
gosh.
so different and so wonderful, and they bring great beneficial things to us constantly.
And they're honest and they're open. When something's uncomfortable, they'll speak up, which I love. Like not this like shove that crap down. Bring it up.
They bring it up, and they also have like come up with ideas for classes and like tell us how the students are and how we can better serve the community, because they're in there with the students. They're great. Love the teachers too.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being so amazing and for building up your community and for sharing all of this with us so that we can all learn and grow and
Thanks
keep
for asking
going.
us. It was when you reached out, it was like, oh, we must be a real pole studio.
It's too funny.
Funny. We have a real pole studio.
Well, you folks are wonderful, so
This
thank you
is
for
fun.
the talk.
Oh,
True.
hell yeah.
We love your mission of making it as inclusive as possible and just enjoying the journey.
Yes. Yeah. And hopefully we can make it out there sometime too and take class with you in
Please
person.
do. Let us know.
We're not
Hit
that
us up on
far.
Instagram when you're coming down. I run the Instagram. I'll be like, yes, let's go.
Oh,
Yes.
Love it.
and we're planning our tour next year, so fingers crossed.
Yes. Right. We were trying to plan a teacher trip too to take some classes somewhere too, but everyone's so busy, but hopefully soon.
Yeah. It is the American way to be busy, isn't it?
Right.
Unfortunately,
This summer has been ridiculous.
has been OMG. There's nothing like visiting another country to show you how different we are. They actually take the time to enjoy life, and we're just like, nope, go, fast food, go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
We should do our closing.
Yes. The final moment of silence before the closing.
Well, thank you so much for listening to or watching this episode of Pole in the Call podcast with the amazing Vickie and Savvie of RevolVT Pole Studio in Vermont. My name is
They're too funny. Yeah. And I am Cris Rivers. Let me position myself.
Amazing.
And we are.
And we are Vickie.
Ooh, look at that. Ooh, they lift their legs and everything. I'm so flexy.
so flexy.